Welcome to Review Set Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Yourself?
I am so excellent. It's almost the end of June. Can you believe it?
I can't. It's flown by, man.
Summer is flying by. Last night we had yet another great watch party where we watched the film we'll be discussing today. And man, it was a fun night.
It was a fun night. Yeah. If anything, it was a blast. Yeah.
If anything, yeah, it was fun. It's also the last review of the month, a month we've been calling Attack of the Killer. What?
Attack of the Killer. What?
Attack of the Killer. What? But before we chat about today's movie, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, would you like to kick this off?
Yeah, I got a few things this week. We talk about these names all the time, but Jason Blum and James Wan are teaming up once again and are now making a spin-off sequel to Megan called Soulmate. Dated for release January 2nd, 2026. It will apparently be about a man acquiring an artificial intelligent android to help cope with the loss of his wife, and in an attempt to create a truly sentient soulmate, he inadvertently turns the harmless lovebot into a deadly soulmate. We shall see. So there's Megan 2.0 still coming out as well as this Soulmate.
And Soulmate, of course, yeah. As you had mentioned about a loving, what was it? A loving love bot?
They call
harmless,
it harmless love bot. Yeah, harmless
cool.
love bot.
Cool.
So we'll see how that all plays out.
We cannot go a single week without those two announcing another project.
If it's not both, it's either one or the other, you know?
Cool.
Next piece of horror news. The first trailer for Smile 2 has dropped, and it looks creepy as hell. If it's anything like the first one, I cannot wait for it. Release date is October 18th this year, so Halloween season. Jesse, have you seen the first Smile movie?
I haven't. It's one that I feel like I saw the trailer for everywhere when it was just about to come out. I feel like we were going to a movie every week, or even sometimes two movies, and I feel like that trailer played forever. But I have yet to see it.
They did a good job marketing for that too.
Yeah.
Me and Rachel saw the first one in theaters. That's the only time I did see it. So it is up for a rewatch, but I remember quite enjoying it. So Smile 2 coming out this year.
What a great time to put it out to October 18th. That is when you should put out a horror movie.
Hell yeah.
Either the summertime or October 18th.
And right before Halloween, because everyone's just getting in that spirit. They're just getting for it, right?
Give them that 2 weeks, before Halloween to go and see it. Perfect. Perfect.
I got one more thing here. In a recent interview, talking about her upcoming film, Longlegs, which looks fantastic in itself.
It does, yeah.
Maika Monroe, who also stars in It Follows, mentioned that the sequel to It Follows, titled They Follow, hasn't started filming yet, but she has read the script and says the plot is bigger, darker, and more fucked up than the original.
Okay.
Which is pretty awesome news because It Follows is a fantastic movie. No release yet for They Follow, and her new film Longlegs, which is creating quite the buzz already.
It really is, yeah.
It releases July 12th, so coming pretty quick here.
I obviously we're both big Bloody Disgusting fans, and I feel like every other day there's something new about Longlegs on Bloody Disgusting, which is pretty cool.
They have a pretty cool phone number you can call, and you get a pretty creepy guy answering it. I did test it out, and it's pretty. Did
creepy. You really?
Yeah,
nice.
You can kind of find it online. There's posts about it, but yeah, there's like a phone number you can call for Longlegs, and it's pretty creepy message you get.
Sweet. I've got a couple pieces here. This week, we of course lost legend of the screen, Donald Sutherland, passed away at the age of 88 years old. Donald Sutherland starred in such films as 2004's Salem's Lot, 1992's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and of course, one we just reviewed recently, 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Rest in peace to Donald Sutherland, a legend.
We salute you. We salute you.
We salute you. And then finally, it's official. A trailer has finally come out for the much anticipated Robert Eggers movie, Nosferatu.
Really? Have you seen it?
I haven't, because
Okay.
unfortunately, it is playing exclusively in theaters.
Okay.
And it is playing exclusively before the movie The Bike Riders,
Okay.
starring Tom Hardy and Butler, Austin Butler. I was going to call him Elvis Butler. But yeah, we can only assume that the trailer will be released soon-ish for those not going to see The Bike Riders. But something to look forward to. I believe Carly and I are going to go and try and see The Bike Riders later this week.
Nice, man, nice.
So yeah, I'm excited to see The Bike Riders, but even more so excited to see the trailer for Nosferatu. I'm a huge Robert Eggers fan. Bring it on.
You really are, man. You really are.
Yeah. That's all I have for horror news. What do you say we jump into this week's episode? The last episode in the month we've been calling Attack of the Killer What Month goes to 1986's Chopping Mall. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 17 minutes. Blairski, I mean, what more can we say about the runtime?
I feel like out of all the movies we've ever reviewed, this is the best runtime, not only in length, but also feel and pace of the whole movie.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, even last week we watched Rubber, which was, I think, around the same time, and it felt long.
Yeah, it did.
Which this one felt, like you had said, it felt like the perfect amount of time for the film that it was, which we'll get into later. Before we get into it in likes and dislikes, what do you say we talk about some fun facts?
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
You got some fun facts for Chopping Mall?
I do. Originally, the film was titled Killbots, which is a pretty cool name. But after a poor test screen run, they cut 19 minutes off the film and retitled it as Chopping Mall, which is fine by me.
Not only originally titled Killbots, but it was released.
Killbots. Yeah.
Was fully released, and then they decided to change it. I do like Killbots, but Chopping Mall is so great.
Chopping Mall is very unique. You know, I like how they went with Chopping Mall. Next thing I have here, the majority of this film was shot in the Sherman Oaks Galleria Mall, which is the same place that they shot 1982's Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and 1985's Commando was also filmed there, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, the elevator was used, I think, predominantly in Commando as well.
Yeah, it was. The final fun fact I have for this movie is, even though it takes place in a closed mall, throughout the entire film, people can be seen walking in the background on different floors. It was all filmed at night for the most part, when the mall was actually closed, but the mall still has their own staff, their own security, janitors, and all that. And if you look in the movie throughout the entire film, you can see just random people walking around the mall.
Apparently the owners of the mall were all for them making this movie. They were really, really excited about the project, except for the mall's security guard, which is
who had to work
the
during it.
Yeah, and it was just like, if you guys break something, or if you guys trash the mall, you're in big trouble, and would like give them a hard time and stuff, which is kind of funny since the movie is about a killer mall security guard.
Well, I bet you they were just worried that their jobs would be taken by the robots.
By the robots, Oh, goodness. The film Allison and Ferdy are watching in the furniture store is Attack of the Crab Monsters, which I think could have fit perfectly into this month's theme.
It did, yeah.
Even cooler, Attack of the Crab Monsters, a film done by Roger Corman.
Okay.
Who we've talked about recently. He passed a couple of weeks ago. Roger Corman also did Bucket of Blood and Little Shop of Horrors, which this movie has a lot of nods to, for sure.
Yes, it does.
I'm thinking of The Pet Shop, which I believe is called Roger's Little Shop of Pets.
Oh, is it? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Shot in 22 days.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. The script took 5 weeks to write. The character Mike is seen chewing gum in every single scene.
I did not notice
Something that came up during the watch party last night was how much that drew us away from everything else happening. It's
Going
just,
on.
oh my God, he is just chewing away on that thing.
I did notice it in some scenes, but I definitely didn't notice what was happening throughout the entire film.
Yeah. And then finally, surprise, surprise, James Wan announced in 2023 that he wanted to remake this movie.
Oh, shocker.
Shocker, James Wan has also announced in 2023 that he wants to remake every movie ever invented. Okay, let's chat about the fine folks who worked on this film. Directed by Jim Wynorski, also directed 1989's The Return of the Swamp Thing, 1990's Sorority House Massacre 2, 2004's The Curse of the Komodo, and Final Voyage, as well as a plethora of adult films.
Oh, okay.
This one written by, of course, Jim Wynorski, also wrote Dino Croc versus Supergator, Fire from Below, Forbidden World, and Transylvania Twist, and also written by Steve Mitchell, wrote 3 episodes of G.I. Joe, 1 episode of Transformers, and 5 episodes of Pacific Blue. Is that your favorite Pacific color, Blair? Pacific Blue?
My favorite Pacific color would probably be Pacific Blue. Yeah, you're right.
It's definitely my top 5 for sure. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the fine folks who acted in this one. Now, it is a big cast. I don't go into detail on all of them.
Yeah, it's a big
But
cast.
here are a couple names, starting off with Kelly Maroney as Allison, starred in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 319 episodes of Ryan's Hope, The Wild Man, and A Night of the Comet. We'll see this kind of reoccurring trend. I'm guessing, I wasn't around in the 80s, but I'm guessing the 1980s were the time where we see all of these soap operas coming to life.
I'd imagine so.
That is one thing that all of these actors have in common is they went on to star in a million episodes of various soap operas. We'll get into it, though. Also starring Tony O'Dell as Ferdy, starred in The Karate Kid, Part 1 and 2, and has worked on several TV shows as a dialogue coach, including Girl Meets World, Shake It Up, and Your Love, and George Lopez. Also starring Russell Todd as Rick, starred in Friday the 13th, Part 2 is Scott.
Okay. And
on 130 episodes of Another World. Also starring Carrie Emerson as Linda, starred in 1982's White Dog, which I've seen, and if I can recall, is about a racist dog.
Okay.
Or the dog's owner is racist and it trains his dog to be like-minded.
Weird, man.
Yeah. Also starred in From the Dead of Night. Barbara Crampton as Susie, starred in Reanimator, 83 episodes of Days of Our Lives, 310 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful, 2012's The Lords of Salem, 185 episodes of The Young and the Restless. Big resume.
Yeah.
And then finally starring Dick Miller as Walter Paisley, starred as Mr. Futterman in Gremlins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Synopsis, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. A group of young shopping mall employees stay behind for a late night party in one of the stores. When the mall goes on lockdown before they can get out, the robot security system malfunctions and goes on a killing spree.
I dig it.
That's it. That is the movie right there. Yeah, why not? This leads us to one of our favorite segments of the show, Kill Count.
Kill Count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, we got a kill count for 1986's Chopping Mall.
We do. The kills seem to come fast and furious in this movie. But our kill count surprisingly isn't as high as I thought it was. But we got a total kill count of 9.
Okay.
Which is decent. It's a decent kill count, but definitely we've done movies in the 20s, 30s, and the entire world. So it's not as high as some other movies, but yeah, kill count of 9.
I think if you look at it in perspective of, okay, how many people died? It's maybe not so many, but how many people out of the cast survived?
Not so
It kind
many.
of it makes all sense. How many? There was 2 survivors.
Yeah.
So it kind of, it all works out, I suppose, for the best.
Yeah, I guess so. For the
Oh, my
survivors,
goodness.
anyway.
So 9 deaths. This is a perfect segue into one of our favorite segments, likes and dislikes.
Likes, dislikes, likes, dislikes,
And everything in between. The portion of the show where we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski, do we want to start with the kills?
Yeah, we can. We can start with the kills. They were okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything really crazy about the kills. To be honest, the practical and special effects in this movie were not good.
That's where we can disagree right now.
They weren't good. How are those lasers good? How is that good?
This is just so. This is where I think you and I.
No,
This is
I
like
get you
my-
loving it, and I loved it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was great, but
Fair
they're
enough.
not good. They're just not good effects.
They're not. No,
That's what I'm trying to
technically.
get at.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm going
No,
at the technical aspect. They're not good.
Yeah, technically they're not great.
No, not at all.
On an enjoyment level,
Oh,
I mean, who
right up
doesn't
there,
like
right up there.
seeing a mall security guard shooting lasers?
Yeah, no, that's where I think you misinterpret me sometimes. Is I'm
Gotcha.
not talking about my enjoyment of it. I absolutely loved it.
It's the
Um,
technicality behind
They're
it.
just not good. Like they're
Yeah.
not good special effects. It's simple as that.
No, can agree. The budget did not really go towards the special effects.
No.
Yeah.
But that being said, some of the kills were pretty cool. The janitor getting electrocuted was pretty awesome.
Yep.
I loved when the robots reached out their little claws and like basically crushed the throats of people.
Yeah.
The kills were a lot of fun. They were.
I think we get another head explosion in this one.
We do.
We have
indeed.
somebody lit ablaze.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That was actually awesome. That
Yeah.
when the girl gets burnt like that, that was actually to me in the whole movie, that was the best use of practical effects.
So what I love about this movie is you can clearly point out when a stunt person is being used in a scene.
Mhm.
In this movie, it is very evident. There are numerous scenes where it's just somebody wearing a wig.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that so much. It makes the deaths that much better.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Just the cheese factor of it, right? It was mentioned in our watch party as well. Every time it happened, it's great.
Yeah, I think more than anything, the deaths they fit the feel of the movie. They were kind of over the top. They were extreme. They were comical. It was ridiculous, but
Yeah.
it felt. It went with the feel of the movie.
Oh, 100% it did. I couldn't expect anything different from beginning to end of that movie. You know exactly what kind of movie it is. The movie knows exactly what kind of movie it is. It's great.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think as a whole, I mean, it's not a great movie,
Mm-mm.
but if you go into it knowing how ridiculous it is, and I think you can get that by just reading the synopsis on our on IMDb. If you go into that with that mentality that it's going to be ridiculous, I think you'll really enjoy it.
Man, even if you don't go in with that mentality, you realize it within the first 5 minutes
100%.
what kind of movie it's going to be, right? And then
And it's very clear, like
Yeah.
the script, although it's not great, it's very clear on what is happening. It's very clear in its outrageous scenario.
yeah.
The characters are very clear in their objectives.
They are.
It's just very far out, and it's just not great as a
No.
whole. Yeah.
No. One thing I want to mention is off topic of the kills now. The soundtrack.
Oh my God, bring it on.
How great was that, eh?
I loved
it. We were talking in the watch party how it kind of sounded like every old Nintendo dungeon or boss level.
Yeah.
Or someone mentioned that it's like sounds like one of those old electric keyboards where you'll just put on a beat and then add different things into it with every press of the
Play over
keys or
top of
whatever.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, so good.
I loved it. It just like there's certain things about this movie that really nail it down to a certain time period. And the music is one of those, if not the main thing. It's the music. It is so over the top cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough of it.
Very synth heavy. It's played very loud, like the volume's pretty high on the
Yeah.
music, and it's also played throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
And yeah, I absolutely loved it. Loved
I-
the music.
I thought I read somewhere that it's been released twice, the music.
Yeah, in
It
like
was
album
released.
form, or
Yeah, it was released once and then it was re-released. So that might be something to consider adding to the collection.
maybe look for it at the next HorrorCon or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Chopping Mall. If anyone has any leads on getting Chopping Mall on vinyl, that'd be great. You had mentioned the one word, and I think it's the perfect word to describe this this movie. Cheese.
Oh man, cheese, and more cheese. Cheese galore. The best kind
Yeah.
of cheese, though. Best kind of
Honestly,
cheese.
the stinkier the better.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
100%.
Cheese, more cheese from everything from the script to the actors to the killer itself, the Killbot to the scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, we love ourselves some cheese. This is kind of my sweet spot as far as horror movies go. I love to either be scared shitless or really have a good time watching a horror
Yeah.
movie. And this one, it's right in the pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheesy, dripping.
What
It
did
is.
you
It is oozing in queso.
What did you think of the? Oh, I love queso. Love
Me
queso.
too. Me too.
What did you think about the robot design?
I thought it was excellent. I thought, I mean, they were so clunky and ridiculous killing machines. They were so slow. Going along with that, I thought the intro to the movie,
Yeah.
which we love ourselves a good intro, I thought it was a perfect way to introduce the character of the Killbot.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. And it was at that point where I totally realized what kind of movie this is going to be.
You were sold. After
Yeah,
that
I
intro.
was sold. 100%.
That's what
I
we
was.
like in a good intro. But it's perfect. It kind of shows you who the character is.
Mhm.
And that character is a very slow, clunky killing machine that may or may not look like other robots from other movies that came out around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness. I thought whether this movie it was intentionally or not, it was very camp, which I
Very
love.
camp.
Yeah,
Very
which I
camp.
love. I mean, it's over the top. These characters, I mean, they're sex crazed teens.
Yeah. Very 80s
Uh,
vibe. This whole movie is very much an 80s vibe.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of your typical slasher movie in let's try and get as many people as topless as possible
Yeah.
and then start killing them off one by
Yeah.
one.
100%.
Yeah. It's all about blood. It's all about boobs.
Yeah.
And
Blood
this
and boobs.
movie, I mean, that's this movie, 100%. Yeah. Anything else you really, really liked about this one? Anything that you're kind of on the fence about?
I do like the set. So for me, something about any movie, whether it's a horror movie or just any movie that takes place in a mall,
Yeah.
to me, there's something nostalgic about that, especially in the era of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I absolutely love movies that take place in malls in that era. So I love the set. I love their choice of legit doing it in a mall too, and not just in studio.
It was just like that was the time of the mall. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't really go to malls anymore. It's all done online.
Yeah.
So why bother? But yeah, I agree. There's something about the nostalgia of of the mall in the 80s and the 90s. I also felt like during some portions of the movie, it didn't really feel like they were in a mall.
In some
Uh,
portions, especially when they were partying in that one store, it
Yeah,
kind of
in the
seemed like an
furniture store.
apartment building or something. like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But I agree. I enjoyed the set. Oh no, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I do have written down though for my likes and dislikes.
Perfect. I think we should move along into our next segment, which is lessons we learned from watching a 1986's Chopping Mall.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski,
Yeah, buddy.
I know you said it last night, but did you learn a single thing from watching 1986's Chopping Mall?
Yeah, I got a few things written down. So this first one, it was actually a quote in the movie. It probably could have been used as line of the night, but I'm going to use it as something I've learned. I learned that in order to successfully and properly use a firearm, I must watch Dirty Harry at least 24 times.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I also learned that robots bleed blue blood.
Mm.
And finally, I learned the importance of appreciating your local mall security guards. The job sucks. The pay probably isn't that great either. But as we see in this film, the alternative is much, much worse.
Yeah, not only does the pay suck, but they got to, fight for their job with killer robots.
I know.
Battle bots in the mall. Oh, goodness. I learned a few things. I don't know how many times we've had to mention this on the show, but if you ever find yourself on fire, stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
Come on, folks.
Yeah.
Just do it. Practice it. Practice it right now. Step away from your headphones and practice. I also learned a propane tank is your best friend if you're ever being hunted by a crazed mall security guard that happens to be a robot.
Yeah.
And then finally, if you forgot your keys, whether it be your house or your car, remember a crowbar works just as good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. One of the best lines of the movie. I don't even have it
love
for
that.
line of the
I
night.
don't
but-
either, so I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? They went to the store and it's like, oh, thank God I have my keys, and then proceeds to hurl a crowbar through the storefront window.
Through the glass, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's all I learned. What do you say we move along to our next segment? Line of the night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski,
Yeah, buddy.
you got a couple line of the night?
This movie had a lot of good lines. I've got 4 written down. They're all fairly short. Waitress, more butter.
Yeah.
Just said by some random guy eating at the mall restaurant. I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious. You smell like pepperoni. Said by Greg to Susie Lynn, who originally took offense to the comment until Greg made it clear that he likes pepperoni.
Yeah, loves it.
Linda says to Ferdy after he apologized for making her angry. She says, "It's not you, Ferdy. I guess I'm just not used to running around a shopping mall in the middle of the night being chased by killer robots." And I don't blame her. I mean, who is used to that, right?
It's a great line.
Such a good line. My final line of the night is thank you. Have a good day. Or have a nice day. Have a nice day.
Have a
which
nice
was
day.
said by the Killbots every time they killed somebody. And it was also said by a bunch of the characters throughout the film.
I imagine that I didn't check to see, but I imagine that was like the tagline for the movie. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't check that either, but I wouldn't be
Great
surprised.
line. I've got a couple here. Greg says, "Oh, fuck the fuchsia. It's
Yeah.
Friday."
Yeah.
Great line. Susie and Allison say this line a couple times throughout the movie. They say, "Hey, babe."
Yeah.
It is babe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I thought was a great line. The Killbot says, laser malfunction, engage intruder, please wait intruder.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Just wait. Let me figure this out so I can kill you.
Yeah. Ferdy says, chalk one up for the furniture king, which I thought was great. And then there's one more. I don't know who said it, but they say they're trying to French fry us. I mean, if you're going to go, you might as well be turned into a French
You
fry.
might as well be French fried. Yeah.
That's what I have for lines of the night. This leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might even go as far as saying this is our favorite segment of the show.
Some might, even us, maybe.
Well, I think we've come to terms that it's at least in our top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert. It usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski,
Yeah, buddy.
what do you got for celebrity lookalike time?
I got a few. I think some are pretty good and some might be out there, but
Okay.
character Ferdy, right off the bat, reminded me a bit of Canadian comedic legend Rick Moranis,
Yeah.
especially thanks to the hair and glasses. But the first time it really showed Ferdy up close, I just said out loud, watching it. I was like, that looks like Rick Moranis.
100%. Yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Mall security guard. Yeah.
The character Walter, who is the janitor who gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
He reminded me big time of a young Robert De Niro.
Okay, yeah.
The character Paul Bland, who I'm pretty sure is only shown at the beginning of the movie, sitting next to his wife as the robots are being introduced.
Yeah.
He reminded me of a couple people, actually. He reminded me of actor Eric Avari, who I know as Cecil Anderson in Mr. Deeds.
Okay.
You'd have to know who I'm talking about in Mr. Deeds, but he also reminded me a bit of an older Sean Connery when he lost his hair.
Yeah. I was also thinking he reminded me a bit of Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, I could see that too.
A little bit of Big Fat Liar.
Yeah, for sure. It's the bald head with that wrapped around headline and the
cul-de-sac with the beard. Yeah.
My final celeb lookalike is the robots.
Yeah.
They reminded me of the one and only Johnny Five from Short Circuit.
Short Circuit.
I think the only thing that was really kind of different about them was the head, but the whole body shape was just like Johnny Five.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got two here. Dr. Stan Simon, inventor of the Killbots, reminded me of 80s cool guy, Huey Lewis.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I could have sworn I needed to, I called my wife over and said, is that Huey Lewis? I swear to God, that's Huey Lewis. And then finally, the robot, the Killbot, reminded me of the character Alpha from the television show Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I'm trying to picture that.
Now, Alpha, you said Johnny Five, it's the body. So I think the robot is the body of Johnny Five and the head of Alpha.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up after we finish recording here.
Absolutely. It's the love child of Johnny Five and Alpha. Again, Killbot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This leads us to our final rating for 1986's Chopping Mall Blairski.
Yeah, buddy.
Out of 5 sex-crazed mall employees turned mercenaries, what do you give Chopping Mall?
This is one of those movies where I actually have to give it 2 ratings. As a movie, I'm giving it 3.5 sex-crazed mall employees turned mercenaries out of 5.
Yeah.
In the enjoyment level of watching it, especially in the format we did with a watch party, an easy 5 out of 5. Sex-crazed mall employees turned mercenaries out of 5.
I agree. As far as like an enjoyment level, as far as where we watched it with the watch party, as far as how the group reacted to it as a whole, I thought 5 out of 5. I'm going to go a little bit lower as far as the execution of the film itself. I'm going to score it 3 sex-crazed mall employees turned mercenaries out of 5. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. My original score was 3, but then I just enjoyed it so much I had to give it that extra little bump.
This movie is like, I imagine this would be the perfect movie to watch as like a 14-year-old having a pizza party, slumber party.
Yeah.
Watching Chopping Mall.
Yeah. It seems like one of those movies.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. It seems like one of those movies, if you ever were just flicking through channels and saw it on TV, didn't matter where it was in that movie, you'd just keep it on,
Yeah, I thought it was the perfect movie to watch this month, and without a doubt, the best movie of the ones we watched this month to watch as our watch party. Yeah,
we almost did Rubber, and I'm so glad we didn't.
Ugh.
I am so glad we didn't.
That would have been a rough one.
Yeah,
oh goodness. Another month down. This was a fun month.
It was, man.
This was a fun month. I really enjoyed it, but really looking forward to July. Mm-hmm. We have a great theme coming up next month. I'm going to be focused on one particular legend that we'll let everyone know about later. But until then, this has been Review Set Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every a sandwich. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Review Set Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/Review Set Scare. That's LINKTREE ktr.ee/reviewsatscare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsatscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich. A proud member of Pod Nation TV.